Welcome to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger. We're going to talk to you about real estate news, mortgage news, what's going on. I want to dive into something called a Dutch auction today. We're going to talk about that.
Dutch auction.
And then we're going to talk about prices are still rising for all you doom and gloom naysayers sitting on the couch saying, I'm not buying, it's going to crash. And then we've got seasonal selling. What's going on with the summer selling season? We're going to dive into that. So, Bruce, what do you got?
Well, I want to talk about interest rates and whether it's the right time to refinance or even purchase right now. I mean, what are people doing? Are they holding off? Are they waiting for the Fed to drop the Fed rates? Should we wait till after September? Should we wait till next year? Maybe another 10 years. Who knows? How long do we wait for something to happen?
But I think of the past, you were on vacation, had a nice little trip.
Beautiful
you look
vacation.
All tanned and rested. And I think the biggest news was rates did budge. So where are we at now?
Well, you're still just north of 6.5%.
Yep.
So we were about 6.85 before I went on vacation.
Yep.
Friday before last, we had the best day. We had a rally in the bond market. It was unbelievable.
And that's right after
we gained about 25 basis points.
Too slow Powell did not cut the rate, and the bond market did well.
The bond market did very well.
And that's what we needed.
And that's exactly what we needed.
Now this week we got some low inflation news too.
We do have low inflation news, which should help. Now, things were completely flat last week. They've been relatively flat this week. I think the market is just waiting to see what happens. So I want to get into, should you refinance right now? So if you are in a situation where you need to consolidate debt,
probably
now's a really good time to do it.
Yeah.
If you are in a position to where you want to get out and look at property, I think now is the time to get your mortgage all set up. So is it necessary the right time to lock? Let's examine the market and see what works for you. However, I think that you have to be poised to be ready to take advantage of the market that's ahead of us. And I think we are right at the precipice of things starting to turn around. I really start to feel
that's what's hard to call about the bottom, and it's been, this is the good news. But like, I really go back to where I think everybody needs a plan. And I talked to a couple of people this week, and it was the right time for them to like hold on a little bit. Like they weren't ready to sell. And I talked to them about some work to be done to the home, and they're like, okay, I think so. Then I talked to a couple others, and especially for you downsizers, you're selling the big dream home and it's time to go out to the country. You want to move out to Leesburg and be on the golf course.
Or an assisted living
that
facility.
Right there, I saw some really, those people, the selling price, no, you're not going to get 20 people lined up around the corner to see your house and multiple offers and 10 offers, and you get to sit back and just collect, load your briefcase full of cash. But on the buying side, you're going to get your cost paid. You're going to get a good price. I'm advising my sellers, be a little more negotiable, because this buyer is, I usually see a lot of offers each week. This summer has been more like a winter as far as the amount of offers I see in the traffic. And
it's slower. It is a little bit slower, but I think that with what's happening with the Fed, the excitement in the market, the stock market doing very well, I think we're at a point where things are going to start turning around. And what my message is to all of our listeners, if you're looking to buy or sell, get ready now. Like, start to do it right now.
But and they would do that by going to WeBringYouHome.com. Right?
Go to WeBringYouHome.com. Call me at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144 for the Lone Ranger. Let's look at the numbers. If you're looking to buy, if you're looking to sell, have Cleve come out and give you an evaluation. He just told you about two clients. One, he says, do it right now. The other one says, we got a little bit of time. It depends on your circumstances.
You know what? I'm probably the only realtor that would tell them to wait right now.
It's like me. I'm the only realtor that's telling people to hold off on refinancing if you're trying to drop your rate.
Yep.
Why? Because it's the honest thing to do.
Yep.
Why? Because your bank won't do that. Your credit union won't do that. Rocket Mortgage is saying, do it right now. Now's the best time. But it's not the best time. The best time is right there. It's ready to go, but just be patient. So I created a VIP watch list for all my current clients that had rates north of 6.5%. So that started in February of 2022.
Yep.
Anybody from
Yep.
February 2022 got added to my watch list. Then I started having a lot of real radio listeners call me and go, hey, can I get on your list? I want to get on your list. I want you to tell me if it's right to refinance or when I can do it. If that is something you'd like to do, I've added all my radio listeners that want to be on my watch list to my VIP. I need your full name, address, and a clear copy of your current mortgage statement. Give me all your contact information, and I will tell you when the right time to refi is. 407-250-9144 or Cleve Loveland, the voice of real estate.
You can reach me at 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. Now, Bruce, I want to dive into this. This was kind of interesting. A house in California, they're doing a Dutch auction. Every week. You know, an auction, you go to an auction for a house and usually it's a distress situation and all the sharks come out and everybody just sits there and you bid right there and they might have a minimum on the, you know, the $5 million estate and they've got a $3 million minimum and everybody bids $3,100,000. But a Dutch auction, I thought this was interesting because I do this in a way, but it's about market absorption. A Dutch auction, they reduce the price on this. This is a $13 million mansion. They're dropping the price $250,000 every week.
Okay.
Until it sells. And they will reach that point where if somebody goes, wow, that's a good deal.
So the seller could physically stop if it got too low.
It did.
Like, I don't want to do it.
Now on this Dutch auction, they're just looking at market absorption. Now, what I do when I'm helping my sellers is what I see is like, if I can go 1 week, maybe 2 weeks with not a lot of activity. And in the third week, I might get an offer. Now, I wouldn't adjust the price every week because that family might not be, they might have been on vacation. They might be at working. They might not have their house sold. And so that's what I see. I see about 2 to 3 weeks. If a house does not get an offer, check the feedback, check your neighbors, see who sold. Because I guarantee you this market is still moving around you.
Absolutely,
Somebody bought something.
Yep.
If you're listed for 800,000, I guarantee you something between 750 and 850 sold within a mile of you, most likely. And I go through that with people. This is kind of extreme. I'd like to know what this house actually sells for. It's one of the celebrity real estate teams that was on TV, I think, that has this listing. It will get to a point where somebody goes, yep, that's the one. I'm getting a good deal.
Well, you don't want your Dutch
not a Dutch oven
turning into a Dutch oven.
Yeah. No, you don't.
Okay. That is not a good thing. Okay.
So, but market absorption is how fast are homes like yours selling. And what I see is that no matter whether it's 100,000 or 3 million, it's about 1 to 3 weeks, Bruce, to get an offer. If you don't, it's usually just price.
Can you imagine dropping your home by $250,000?
Well, actually, but that is only like at that price. That's only like 2%.
I know it is.
No, that's actually like 20. That's not 20. That's 2%. So
I know, but that's just
not
slightly lower than our average.
But $13 million sale. Yeah, we don't have that many sales like that here in Central Florida. So, but just 2%. And that's the thing in this market right now. You know, when things were hot during COVID and 20, 21, 22, I would make 1% price adjustment sometimes, and that would work. You know, move the $500,000 house, $5,000 or $4,000. Right. That's not working right now. And sometimes now you need the 3 or 4% adjustment to catch the buyer's eye, because if the buyer sat back and wait, they've gotten a better price. Somebody else popped on the market. They haven't been wrong. So we're teetering on the edge of the buyer's market. So the buyers have a lot going on. So if you think you're a buyer, you want your dream home, call me 407-352-8118.
Yeah. Now, if you're looking to get pre-approved, if you're thinking about refinancing or maybe purchasing a home, or you just want to investigate what your qualification power is, you can always call the loan arranger. I've been in the mortgage business for over 35 years. Everything is done in-house from the moment you call to the day we close on the loan, and even post-closing, I service our mortgages. 90+% of our mortgages are serviced by ourselves. Matter of fact, my clients get a handsome picture of me on their mortgage statement every month when they get their written mortgage statement in. So you always know who you can call. You don't know that when your mortgage is being sold all over the place. The other thing that I'm finding very active right now is the clients that are seeking the DSCR programs, right? And you and I have talked about that before, Cleve, but there's a lot of clients that are really, really looking at investment properties and not showing their tax returns, because my DSCR programs, you can get the rate really close to what a conventional investment program
That's
would be.
great.
It's really, really close. And in some cases, it could even be a little bit better. So investors are like, all right, so I put down 20, 25%, maybe even 30% to be able to get that positive cash flow,
Yep.
because it's hard to get positive cash flow. And you and I discussed that. Why are investors so heavy in the market when cash flow is so limited right now?
They know appreciation is big.
That's exactly
and the
right.
rents will rise. The rates will come down. They'll probably refi that house they bought. They have to come down a lot. But, so you're talking back to the DSCR or an investment loan. So if we're running in the mid sixes for my primary residence, investment loans are in the sevens, low sevens.
Yep, absolutely. I can even get an invest. If you put down 30%, you've got really good credit. You can get that. And it does come with, you can opt into a prepayment penalty on it, which most people do. You could get that rate even in the sixes.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
You could get that rate in the sixes. So it is
That's great.
possible to do if your credit scores are high. So if you're looking at buying investment property, maybe you're self-employed and you want to buy a primary residence, but your tax returns are they're not going to show any money. And believe me, I don't care what your gross income is on your tax returns. It's your net income that you have to use. So if you're making 500 grand a year gross, but you're only netting 40,000,
that's good. You need that bank statement loan.
You need the bank statement loan
Yep.
or a DSCR,
Yep.
and it's a great product for you.
Well, I got a note here about home prices around the country in the second quarter of 2025. They grew at the same pace as the beginning of the year. So
And
it's
what
like
pace is that?
So it's like just barely 1% per quarter. So
Okay.
it's 0.7% for the first quarter and second quarter. So we're looking at, like they're saying, what's that? 4 times 7 is 2.8.
That's
So
perfect.
But that's still regular
That's
appreciation.
normal
And
appreciation.
it does show that, around the country, the median price is up to 429. And so that's higher than Central Florida. So we're still more affordable than most of the rest of the country. But these prices ticking up, now's the time to buy. I almost want to laugh when I hear somebody saying, "Oh no, it's going to crash." Well,
We've had a
2-year slowdown. Yeah.
There's no indicators whatsoever that would give us a market to where we're going to crash.
You don't have any defaults, do you?
I don't have defaults.
I don't have defaults.
I don't have defaults. But who would need to default? The only people that are in foreclosure are people that died and the house went into an estate and went into foreclosure.
Yep.
There's not even a lot of them around right now.
Yep.
So, but I really feel like people are in a position that if you wanted to buy, and let's say you had less than 10% to put down on a house, you are in a perfect position right now because you can negotiate with the seller. You can get repairs, you can get buy downs, you can get closing costs paid. But if we wait for rates to hit 6.25%,
things speed up. Yeah.
People are going to jump in the market.
Yep.
And that is going to eliminate your opportunity. So if you're looking to buy a home, stop dilly-dallying around and get in the market.
On my listings, I would see sometimes I'd see 1%, 2%, 3% for closing costs. I'm telling my sellers, if they need 4 or 5%, let's give it to them.
Absolutely.
I'm doing the math for them. And this is what's
you don't have to reduce your price. You're going to give it to them either way. I'm watching the clock here.
Okay.
We're good.
So, but I just think you need to know your numbers, and sellers giving closing costs to the buyer is not a bad thing. You might sell above list price. What is your net on the whole thing? Your house is listed for 400 and you're giving the buyer 20 grand in costs, and and they offered 400. That's a 380 offer.
I would rather give a buyer 20 grand in cost and leave my price the same than drop my price by 20 grand. Then I'm pissing my neighbors off because I just undersold my property.
That too. But the hardest thing is the buyer coming out of pocket with that down payment, and that they're going to have a $2,800 payment, not a $2,200 payment because of the interest rates. So if you've got questions, call me at 407-352-8118. We're going to do some listings next segment, and go to cleveloveland.com.
Yeah, Cleve's got some great listings, and I want to talk a little bit more about the market and how you can take advantage and you can position yourself to be the buyer that wins in this market. Don't go anywhere. Cleve and I will be right back. Cleve Loveland can be reached at 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com, or Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Arranger right here in your backyard, 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com, live and in person right here. Be right back.